BP and the challenge that we have come across is the energy crisis. BP logo symbolises what they do now and what they aspire to do in the future. The aim of our organisation is to supply oil in mass amounts to smaller suppliers, make fuel and products, generate low carbon energy and sell fuel. We are one of the biggest oil and gas companies operating in the world today. We are leading the organisation in this sector with the competitors such as Shell. BP has divided the organisation part of 3 activities. These activities communicate to different stages of value chain: exploration and product. Our responsibility is to find, develop, produce and transport oils and natural gas resources to market. In terms of employment, we employ 20,000 people along the 30 countries which we operate in. Some of the countries are USA, UK, Russia, North Africa, Canada, the Middle East and Asia. What we take in pride is that we aim to ensure that all our employees enjoy a happy, productive work-life balance at every stage of their career. Another focus is refining and marketing, which is to do with supplying, trading and transportation of oil products.
On the 20th of April 2010, the BP Deepwater Horizon drilling rig exploded in the Gulf of Mexico, causing an oil spill that soon became the worst environmental disaster in US history, leaking a reported total of 4.9 million barrels of oil. The oil killed 11 workers and damaged surrounding wildlife and agriculture, not to mention wasting the world's most precious and finite resources. The reported cost of the oil spill in April totaled at £5.2 billion, with BP taking £3.8 million stake in the total figures. BP's second quarter earnings showed significant losses. The company says it has set aside £20.8 billion to cover costs linked to the Gulf of Mexico spill in a fund to compensate victims of the oil spill, and will refuse to pay shareholder dividend this year. BP has continued to try and salvage the oil that was wasted, collecting approximately 15,800 barrels per day from the well post-June. However, US responses say cleanup of the Gulf could take years. An energy crisis is very significant to BP, meaning that there is a great shortfall or price rise in the supply of energy to an economy, in this case oil. Many recessions are precipitated by an energy crisis of some form. From a consumer side, the price of petrol for cars and other vehicles rises, leading to reduced consumer confidence and spending. It affects BP in the sense that there are a finite amount of resources for oil, and in years to come will be forced to choose an alternate product in providing energy. Some of these alternatives may include solar power, electricity, carbon power and fossil fuels, amongst other ideas that are still to be developed. Without definite results, BP cannot be sure what direction they should be headed in.
BP Petroleum operates in different countries, so it faces many threats. According to Porter 5 Forces model, the threat comes from suppliers and buyers bearing power. A threat of substitutes, a threat of new entrants in the market, and threat of competition. These forces vary in its power and depend in different time periods, and the significant forces and its type changes. However, the other side barriers are so powerful compared to the switching cost and access to distribution channel. The new entrance to petroleum industry faces significant barriers, and therefore the threat is not that significant threat, which is innate competition. BP and petroleum industry do not face an intense threat of substitutes, even there exist substitutes for the petroleum industry products. BP is the first energy company to consider the global risk of climate change and have been shaped by a long-term learning process to reduce the environment issue. BP greenhouse gas emission at a high level of the environment, such as air, airways, water.
SWOT analysis. Strengths. BP is ranked at the world's 3rd largest company and is located as a multinational oil company headquartered in London, as it supplies petrol on a global scale. Weaknesses: increase of petrol prices in the UK. Opportunities: extension of strategic oil and gas in North Sea area. Threats: environmentally unsound policies due to oil and toxic spills, corrosion in pipelines, and competition from Shell and Chevron.
Personal analysis. As far as the political factors, the US government was affected negatively. The MAC cleanup costs compensated for all people at a loss will cost $30 billion. The US government has agreed to assist BP to recover damages in the coastline. As far as economics, as of June 2007, there's been a decrease in share prices at a record year low of 14 years. Social. It will affect many people such as wildlife, fishermen, and people who work in the oil industry. Technology. BP are looking to spend a lot on new technologies competitors can have a big advantage for BP over new developments of technology. As far as environmental factors, it is labelled as one of the worst disasters in decades. It could effectively destroy the Gulf Coast, and it could also effectively have a negative effect on the world's richest seafood grounds, and can also affect other business trades. Legal. Through the oil spillage, it has also received pressure from the US government. As far as the human relations models, BP has to look at people as an asset. People are the driving force of BP's road to recovery, and it is crucial that BP have a solid workforce. If manpower is not catered to, this can lead to demotivation of workers, and de-skilling can affect BP's productivity. Open systems. BP can adopt an open systems approach through interacting with their environment. As an open systems, BP imports petrol, and it is clear that this will affect the environment. BP heavily relies on the environment's inputs in terms of finances.